Hey everybody, I'm Mama Smoke. Thank you for joining me for Fearless Food. Today we're going to make okonomiyaki. If you don't know okonomiyaki, it's a Japanese cabbage pancake. It's delicious, which is why we're making it. So join with me. It looks like there's a lot going on here. It's actually really straightforward. First of all, we're going to make our flour mix. It's going to go into the cabbage. We've got a cup of flour here. That's going to go into a bowl. We're going to add, I've got two things in here. There's a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and also a 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder. That's going to go in, and that is that. Next thing we're going to do, we've got the dry ingredients. We're going to get the wet ingredients. So in here, because we're going to whiz it up, I've got 150 grams of soft tofu. This is the silken tofu you can easily find in a supermarket. Get that in here. Don't spill any precious tofu. And then we're going to add, we've got a tablespoon of, this is mushroom powder. You can probably get this at your Asian grocer, just adds a bit of yummy umami flavor. Here we've got, this is 4 flax eggs. If you haven't made flax eggs before, it's a tablespoon of flax meal or linseed meal. So for every tablespoon of flax meal, it's 2.5 of generally hot water. I've put cold water today, and you can see cold water works just fine. It's all about, the point of this is that it helps things combine and stick together, i.e. working as your egg, but it's so much better for you. So that goes in. And yeah, normally you do this, every recipe that you read says to do this with hot water, but we're doing it with cold because I'm putting this in a totally enclosed blender. And the last thing you want is heat in an enclosed blender. You will have an explosion. Finally, we're going to add 3/4 cup of water. So in it goes. Oh my God, that's perfect. Look at that, just enough room for this to fit on. So we're going to whiz this up so that it's a nice mix that we can then add to the flour that goes in our cabbage. So, mind the noise. Once more. All right, so now we're going to add this. Look at that. This is our binder. That's going to help bind things. That goes in there. I'm going to get a spatula, and then we want to mix these two together. Yum, yum, yum. All right, so here we have 750 grams of cabbage, give or take. It's not really a big deal. Almost a full head of cabbage if you've got like an average size. I know some of them are monstrous, but a normal head of cabbage, this is almost one of those. This is going to go in. Also in this, we're putting ginger, pickled red ginger. There's a 1/4 cup of that. And I just want to show you this. This is not to be confused. It wouldn't be the end of the world, but it's not to be confused with the pickled ginger that you get for Japanese food. It's this stuff. And you know, buy whatever brand, this is the one that I can access. It's really good, and it adds, if you don't have that, don't make this, because it really adds really good flavor. And you can add some of that on top as well. All right, in we go. Get you out of there. So we just want to combine all of this. And we're going to fry it. In my head, I'm thinking that I should be talking right now, and that's stopping me from thinking about things to talk about. So we're mixing, we're busy, we're doing stuff. Just make the food, you'll love it. Alrighty, so this is almost totally combined. Now I'm going to come back and mix that again. I'm just going to get the pan on so that it gets nice and hot. All right, pan on medium-high heat, in between medium and high. Bit of oil. Got to get all the way down the bottom to those bits of cabbage that aren't quite mixed in yet. All right, we're looking good. So now what we're going to do, we're going to let that heat up for a second. So while that's heating, I'm just going to tell you our toppings. We've got teriyaki sauce. This is homemade teriyaki. If you don't have a recipe for this, check it out on my website. Just look it up, really easy. This is called rice seasoning. It's got sesame seeds, it's got seaweed, it's probably got MSG. Put that on top. This is called Togarashi, sashimi Togarashi. It's Japanese chili, and it's got things like, it's got chili in it obviously, but it's also got sesame seeds, and it has things like dried orange peel. It's amazing. Get yourself some of that from your Asian grocer. And then we have some shallots chopped up. Easy peasy. And mayonnaise, vegan mayonnaise naturally. All right, that's feeling nice and hot. So we're just gonna get a chunk of this. We don't have to be neat. In it goes. Then we're gonna squish him out a bit. Let's do another one. You can make these big, you can make these small. Depends on the size of your pan. Depends how confident you are in flipping in your pan. I'm gonna do 3. I normally do them bigger, but I'm feeling 3 today. 3 at once. And that one's bigger than the rest, but we're not about being perfect. As long as it tastes good. Get really annoyed with food that looks good and doesn't taste good. I'm all about it tasting good. All right, I think that'll do us. We are on an angle, so I'll just get that oil evenly distributed. Okay, flipper, let's check them. So this big boy went on first. Oh yeah, look at that. Give him a little squish. Oh man, you have to make these, they're so yummy. All right, flipped over. Once the other side's done, we're practically there. Now this mayo, normally I would recommend using Kewpie mayonnaise. You can get vegan Kewpie mayonnaise. The scary thing about the regular Kewpie mayonnaise is that it's got eggs in it and it's shelf stable. That's wild. But you can get it without eggs. It tastes exactly the same and it's so jam-packed with MSG. Oh my God, it's so good. But I don't have any of that, I've run out. Last time I bought it, I bought like 6 bottles. I thought I would never run out, but I did. It's hard to go to the Asian grocer now. So this is actually just regular vegan mayonnaise, the one that I like from the local supermarket, and I've diluted it with a little bit of water so that it will drizzle on and be the same consistency as Kewpie mayonnaise is. But you do what you want to do. You've got to have some kind of mayo. It's a killer. Now we'll just check these. They look good. So I've made 3 here and look at everything that's left. This is a dish for your friends. Normally I use a 1 cup measure, so they're bigger than this one. And I make about 7, I think, 7 or 8. It does a fair few. So if you want to make smaller amounts, you know, I do it by thirds because you've got the 750 grams of cabbage, so it's easy to turn it into thirds, but just make the whole batch. You're gonna eat it all, even if there's just one of you. All right. Let's do it. Pan off. Get these out. We'll dress them all at the same time. Okay, you ready? So, teriyaki sauce. This one is homemade. You want to have homemade. Homemade is, it's not always better, it's often better. I haven't made that mayo. Homemade teriyaki sauce is better. The recipe you will find on my website, as I said. This we're going to put on top. Look at that. This is actually not traditionally what's put on okonomiyaki. Personally, I love teriyaki on my okonomiyaki, which is why I'm doing it. That's there, and then check this out. We've got our mayo. We're not going to be shy with this mayonnaise. Live a little. We're going to go the other way. Yeah. And then to top it off, we want some of this rice seasoning. Today it's okonomiyaki seasoning. You want some chopped spring onions, shallots, whatever you call them, on top. We want some, this is actually, it's not that spicy, it's just like a little warm hit. It's really good. And then, do we want anything else? Let's put a little bit of pepper on there. And a tiny bit of salt. And there you have it, guys. Okonomiyaki. Emphasis on the nom. I'm Mama Smoke. This has been Fearless Food. Here we have okonomiyaki. Like and subscribe if you want to. And I'll see you next time for more deliciousness. See you later.